Greetings, everyone. I'm Mar. Once again, this is my opinion. Continuing our trek through the Everybody Loves Raymond episodes. We're now on Season 4, Episode 19, Marie and Frank's New Friends. This is a kind of sequel to when Robert moved out from Season 3, and that's because we revisit his temporary landlords, the Stipes. Now, as I've said before, this is one that could have happened any time but after that Season 3 episode. And as a whole, this is an entertaining episode, but it's one that if the premise of this show starts to wear on you, this is one where it really will wear on you. Because Frank and Marie can be intrusive, but this is one where it goes up a level, and that's because of their new friends. Now, the plot of the episode is Deborah and Ray are really getting hammered down by Frank and Marie. Now, the genesis for this is that after many years, Frank and Marie have finally paid off their house, and it's now part of their estate, and they throw a small party. But the thing is, the party is just them, Robert, Deborah, Ray, and the kids. No one else. No Stan, no Lee, no Garvin, no one else. Which makes you wonder, Of course, with how they are, you're like, okay, I could kind of see. Maybe Frank hasn't made good on the stuff he was supposed to, as we saw in the episode where he was elected Man of the Year, where Garvin and Stan were mad at him. And, of course, Marie is Marie. And Marie tells Deborah something when they're talking about this. It's like, this is the first indication of something like that, where they give up their social life to help Ray and Deborah raise the kids. It's like, alright. But also, while I was watching this, something that popped in my head about that was, okay, that's a good gesture, but when you do that, shouldn't you run that by, I don't know, the people who were raising the kids in the first place? Shouldn't that be something that you ask them first and then do it, not a decision you make unilaterally? Just a thought on that. Well, they go back across the street, they talk about it a little bit, and then Frank and Marie just walk in with leftovers. And Ray, of course, makes the best statement with it. They're not leftovers if they're still warm. Frank puts on the TV without a thing. And to get them out of there, they suggest they go find some new friends. Hey, you got the house, you can entertain more. And, of course, Frank reacts in a perfect way, and Peter Boyle sells it well. Hey, who are we, Studio 53? But then the Stipes are brought up. And Ray seems to be the only person who remembers who the Stipes are. Like, Deborah's like, who? Oh, those guys that Robert moved in with. Well, they get the number from him. Frank and Marie contact him. And this is where the best laid plans of mice and men that Ray and Deborah have been cultivating goes astray, because it goes from a 10 on the annoying scale to a 15. Because both couples just start barging in, intruding on their lives, and that's the rest of the episode, them trying to fix it. You know, Deborah's really annoyed by it. Ray doesn't want to have anything to do with it, but him being nice, he goes in with it. I'm just trying to be nice. I'm trying to placate them. And, of course, this causes him and Deborah to be like that. And Ray's like, he's in a can't-win situation no matter what. He can either tell his parents, like, they're your friends, stop bringing them in there. And, of course, Marie starts laying on the Italian Catholic guilt with that. Which, listening to this, I'm like, really, Marie? You're really going to lay that on Ray right now? He's making a good point against you. They are your friends. It doesn't matter if they want to see him. They are your friends. They hang out with you. Are we at a big family function or a big gathering that you're all hosting? Yeah. That means you stay across the street with your friends. But, of course, if that was said, there'd be no show. And if they actually did that, there'd be no show. It's part of the suspension of disbelief, but it's something that has to be addressed when you're talking about sitcom writing and sitcom episodes like this. And at the end of the day, Ray doesn't win in any way. Only big thing on the Stipe front, we're actually introduced to their son, which I don't remember offhand if he was mentioned at all in the first episode with the Stipes, but he's mentioned the first time we see him here, and that's his son Seth, of course, played by Dom Herrera, which the Stipes are again played by David Bird and Anna Berger, or Berger, how you pronounce it. Of course, this is David's last acting credit before he passed away in 2001, so he went out with a pretty decent one. And he also has a mustache this time, because I don't remember him having a mustache in the first one. Maybe it's the difference in the lighting. And they all do a pretty good job there. Now, Seth, he does get into a little conversation with Ray about writing. He's like, hey, you could be a little bit more objective on the Mets. Which Ray does make a good point. You know, they do pay me to write my opinion, which is true when it comes to sports writers, critics, and all that. However, you can acknowledge that you are a little biased in there. And given how we've heard Ray talk about sports, we know that he can be biased and a little overly opinionated. And then again, a lot of people can be like that. Something I've seen firsthand and know a little bit firsthand. But with Ray, it's like, yeah, he is a little bit overly there. And of course, he seems to get a little offended when Seth even brings that up. But hey, it's the truth. Hey, you got to look at the darker things about yourself sometimes. And Ray seems to have a problem with that. But then again, that's something that all the Barones seem to have a problem with in one form or another. Like I said at the top of the episode, it's a pretty decent episode. Nothing much happens. It's with how long sitcom seasons are, it's definitely what you would call filler. If you're showing your friends and family this episode in a row, you could probably skip this one and not miss a lot. It was written by Mike Royce, who also wrote 2 episodes I think are a little bit better than this. Tissues and The Contractor, which The Contractor, that's going to be interesting because that'll be a fun episode to talk about, because that episode, when we get to season 8, if I remember my counting right, yeah, season 8, it's going to be an episode where we get to see some more stuff about Gianni, where he's actually a central figure. And of course, I saw it in first run, so we'll be able to talk about that. Tissues, that's another fun syndication one. Now this one, since I brought that up, I didn't see that until I saw the DVD, which it's over there, but it has a few things on top of it, so I can't grab it. No real good trivia on it, other than this is David Byrd's last appearance, and there's nothing really other of note to talk about it. Other than, of course, Robert gets jealous that the Stipes are hanging around with Ray, or wanting to go with Ray, so it's like his actual parents don't want to hang around with him, and then the people who were basically doppelgangers of his parents don't want to hang around with him. They get bored when he's talking about the bull, but that's Robert doing his usual thing, trying to get attention brought back to him, but it is what it is on that front, and that does add some to the comedy. But overall, just a okay episode. You can skip it if you just want to skip around through it, but it's one that I'll watch every now and then when the mood strikes me. It's like, I feel like watching the Stipes. Now the next episode is one that's very rarely a skip, and it definitely is a step up as a whole, and it's going to be a Ray and Deborah centric episode, and that of course is Alone Time. And no, for you people with dirty minds, it is not that type of alone time.